you go. Thank you. And fucking metronome. I don't want the metronome.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello. Yeah, I see the thing. I guess I'm recording now. Okay.
Yeah, we're just we gotta get these technical difficulties. You figure this is the first time we're actually doing this, where we are going and trying to actually do this recorded, rather than being in the same room.
I know, because sorry people, I know usually I do a little on the way to the Dragoon's lair, but sad to say, it finally happened. Yes. Pardon. I have a touch of the Rona, and I didn't want to get Danny sick. Physically, anyway. I mean, we all know he's mentally fucked up. But,
well, I'm also sick myself. My voice was shot last week, and even this week it was shot. It's been shot. And
how can you tell?
Yeah. I sound wonderful,
Yeah.
Trying to enter a voice acting contest when you got to do voices and stuff and project your voice, and everything is scratchy and you don't even like the sound of your own voice at that point.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful.
Yeah, I ended up going to the doctor's today. I went to a skin doctor, and I had something taken off my back, and he was like, he's doing it, and all of a sudden I hear, oh. And I was like, no. I go, what's oh? He goes, nothing.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh. He's like, what's that? I'm like, oh, nothing. I'm like, no, that's not an oh, nothing. I go, what happened? He goes, it was a little more than we expected. We need a Band-Aid. It won't cover it. We need gauze. I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, dude, patch me up. Get me the hell out of here.
And I thought I was the bleeder.
It wasn't really blood.
Oh.
It was like an episode of Dr. Pimple Popper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I go, patch me up, man. Let's go.
Too bad you didn't have that recorded. You would have gotten a ton of views online for that. All on the tiki-talk.
All on the ticking talk. No, not tiki, it's ticking. It's the ticking talk.
Well, the clock overlords, or, put it up as a real YouTube short.
Yeah, right.
There's so many platforms now that this is actually driving me nuts. But at least we have our socials. So since we're doing this, I might as well introduce the show. I am sick, but we're going to call this our sick day episode. So, woo! Yeah, we're sick here today. So, welcome everyone.
Not just sick in the head.
We're always sick in the head, but welcome everyone to the Dragoon's Lair podcast. I am the Blue Dragoon himself, Daniel the Dragon, and with me here is via satellite.
Thank you, via satellite. Remoting in today, I am Mike Schiavo, King Hamster Pellet himself. What is shaking, people?
Yeah, that's right, people. We're testing out our remote, actual recording of this, so everyone is getting to witness the true foibles, fuck-ups, and foobar facactas. And yes, I'm going with as much as I can on that alliteration.
Foobar facactas.
Yeah, I had to hit words we haven't used in a long time, But
wow.
We're dealing with some technical issues, and actually this might be a way we can get some guests onto the show.
Yes.
So
definitely,
we're gonna.
I have people who say, "Hey, I want to come on." I was like, "Hey, how about you listen first?"
Yes, and I want to thank your buddy, one of our listeners, who actually sent in an email to dragoonslairpodcast at gmail.com. That's Dragoon's Lair Podcast. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's all one word. Dragoon's Lair Podcast at gmail.com. You can send us in and make requests, at which we got fan mail from him. With a request for a type of show he wants to see.
Say his name. He won't be offended. You can say Doug's name.
I'm blanking on it, so it's like
Doug.
Doug.
His name is Doug.
So thank you, Doug, for the email. I'm not looking at it right now because we're doing this via satellite, so I don't have my normal screens up the way I would be able to. So I'm not looking at the email. You're playing with your Transformers.
It's either that or the microphone cord. So which one do you want me to do?
Play with the Transformers.
That's what
because at least that's not going to make any extra noise.
You never know. Oh my fucking nose, man.
Trust me, I was just scratching my nose myself. Ugh. So,
you can't see, but I got a big ass freaking Band-Aid on the side of my nostril.
Oh no, we can see it.
Oh, okay, good.
It's not as flesh colored as you would think it is. It's
Honestly, I don't give a shit. Flesh
yeah,
colored, not like, dude, what happened to your nose? Nothing.
yeah. So we're doing this recording via satellite. We want to thank Doug for his email, and
Yeah.
I believe we should attempt the request for next week.
Okay, but let everybody know what the request is.
The request is to forget about doing any wrestling talk, and we're going to do a show that is 80s movies and music.
I'm throwing in shows too, because there are a ton of shows that I like. So I'm gonna do like a top 10 movies, music, and shows.
Yep. So we're going to hit 80s TV, 80s movies, and 80s music. So we will do a very special episode of a throwback because, hell, let's face it, we're a couple of Gen Xers and we grew up throughout the 80s. So with us being 80s kids, might as well. Let's go and it'll be a reminisce. So
stick with what we know, you know?
Yeah. And you know what? We're going to wait and we'll hold off on the discussion about the upcoming movies for March. We're going to keep putting that on delay.
I think we should wait until February to do March movies.
Yeah, we've already hit February. Since January and February, we've gone over everything.
So I think we should just wait. I mean, do maybe a month in advance.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely looking forward to next week's show. Thanks, Doug.
Yeah, thank you, Doug. You gave us something to look forward to, and you gave us something to plan. And this just goes to prove. Listen, this goes to prove that if you send us an email, you make a request. If we can make it happen, we will.
Yes.
So why not just? Whoa, Mike just kind of glided on out of there. He has the chair that actually can move. I do not have that luxury. I can twist, but I cannot roll back and forth. I need a new chair.
Do that twist. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got to make sure I get my stuff going. Like, I need a better chair, but that's going to require some funding. And maybe we can get some kind of sponsors down the line, you know. But seeing as how you had a touch of the Rona, how have you been dealing with your recovery? Let's start with that.
I've been, I got it. I wasn't feeling well last Saturday. I wasn't feeling too hot. Came home, took a test, came up positive. I was like, shit. All right, whatever. Saturday night wasn't good. I was hot. I was cold. I was achy. Sunday, same deal. Had a bit of a fever. Monday, started getting better. I wasn't achy, but I still couldn't breathe. I was still hot and cold. Tuesday, my fever was gone. I was just, recovery. Wednesday, I felt better. Thursday, I felt better. Today, Friday, I would say I'm 100%.
All right. Well, that's good to hear. I'm sure everyone out there.
Even the Rona is scared of me. He doesn't want to hang out with me too long.
Well, I don't know if it's scared of you or it's scared of me because I haven't caught him.
Caught him?
Caught him.
You haven't caught him?
I haven't caught him.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, he hasn't caught him.
That's right. I haven't caught it.
You haven't caught the Rona.
I didn't caught it. It's been skating by me.
No, it hasn't been skating by. It's been fucking running past you.
Well, considering the fact that we were recording together the day before you really started feeling sick.
Yeah, but he probably said, nah, fuck it.
It was like, yeah, no. I get your text message that you were feeling sick, and I was like, oh, well, feel better.
Yeah. Yeah, feel better. Bye, don't come over.
It's like, I don't fault you. Don't come over.
Exactly.
So at least we're able to do it this way, and we're able to record via satellite or via Google Meet.
The Google.
The Google.
The Google machine.
This Google thingy.
Is Google is good.
Yeah. So I want to talk about a few things that have come up in the news. And
okay, fire away.
One thing is, I don't know if you know about the recent scandal with Justin Roiland, one of the co-creators of Rick and Morty.
I've saw the stuff online, and they're, I heard that he beat his wife or beat his girlfriend or he beat a female, and I don't condone that in any way, shape, or form. I think Cartoon Network is doing the right thing for going away from him. If that's where Rick and Morty is being shown on, is it on Cartoon Network?
Yep, it's on Cartoon Network.
You know, they're showing, okay, you know what? Even though, yes, this guy makes us money, we don't condone what he did, so we are going to move away from him. But I also heard they are continuing to make Rick and Morty.
Yes, they're supposed to recast Rick and Morty since Justin Roiland does both Rick and Morty, as well as, I believe, a bunch of like background like characters. It sounds like he does some of those too. But I'm a big Rick and Morty fan. I love the show. I love Dan Harmon's stuff. So it's a shame to see everything happening. I don't condone any of the stuff that they're accusing him of. I can hope in my heart of hearts that he is not guilty of these things and can return to the show. But if he is guilty, there's not much I can do about it. You know, separating the art from the artist is something that can be done in some instances, and then there's others I don't think you can.
Yeah.
But it will be interesting to see how Rick and Morty changes with new voices for Rick and Morty.
Well, did he do the writing too, or was he just the creator and do the voices?
I don't know if he does he's involved in the writing, but he's the voices. He's a co-creator. He came up with the concept. So he's very integral with the show.
Right.
And Cartoon Network has let him go. Now the question is, what's going to happen? Because, he's also under the Mouse Overlord. Because the Great Mouse has a few things of his on Hulu. So he is involved in like Solar Opposites and a bunch of other stuff. So, I
mean, the mouse should, in my opinion, there are certain things that the mouse should just stay away from, lest they be called hypocrites. Because keep in mind, we are talking about Disney. The man who created all this, Walt Disney. Back in the day, he's been known to going on some rants that make even Mel Gibson go, "What the fuck?"
Oh yeah, that's the thing. So Walt was not the saint that people. He may have been, he capitalized,
not as seen on TV.
Oh yeah,
not as advertised.
Oh no, he capitalized on things, and I am a fan of Disney stuff, but we know
so am I.
He capitalized on the entirety of open source material of it's like, you know what? These books are in the public domain. So he used the fairy tales as public domain to basically create an empire.
Yep.
But Walt was also not on the right side of World War II.
No. I mean, he went on some rants that would make people today go, "What?" Be like, "Whoa, pump the brakes there, Mickey."
Yeah, so, when people go and they want to attack the Disney Corporation for being woke, you know what? I can see it being okay with them being woke because they have a previous reputation.
Yeah, but, what I don't like about the Disney Corporation is the way they're shoving everything down your throat. Like, they're taking away Splash Mountain in Frontierland or whatever, because it has to do with Songs of the South or Tales of the South.
Well, remember, the movie Song of the South was never released in the U.S., yet it was released on Laserdisc over in Europe.
Yeah.
It's the one Disney ride and song that everyone knows, Zippity Doo Dah, but you never saw the movie it was from.
Right. And I mean, they should just, I don't know. This is where I don't like Disney, and I don't agree with Disney. Stop changing everything. You don't like it, don't listen. I'm of the opinion you don't like something, either whether it's on TV or a certain actor or a certain TV show or whatever, you don't like it, turn the channel. Don't watch this stuff. I hate it when people are like, oh, this needs to be changed because it offends me. Change the fucking, you have 400 channels of shit to watch. I'm pretty sure you can find something that won't offend you. And that is the shit that I really don't like.
Listen, there's going to be plenty of people that don't like things because, well, frankly,
Yes.
I'm not a Will Ferrell fan. I try to avoid movies with him that he is the star. If he's a secondary character in the movie or like third smaller part, I'm okay with that. But when he's the lead, my favorite joke was the Family Guy reference of Stewie watching Bewitched and flying all the way out to California, getting up on the step stool, ringing Will Ferrell's door, and then knocking him out and saying, "That's not funny."
Okay, you know what? I'm of the opinion, like, this is just me speaking. When a character is over the top for, like, no reason, I don't like it. Perfect case in point. The Ace Ventura movies. I'm a fan of Jim Carrey. When he plays, like, I liked him as the Riddler. When he went over the top, the character called for him to go over the top. He wasn't just doing it for the hell of it. What's another one? Oh, Liar, Liar. The Mask. Okay? Ace Ventura, not a fan because I don't like it when he played over-the-top characters like that. You know, like just him being over the top just for being over the top. I'm sorry. Again, not knocking the movies. If you like it, more power to you. I am not putting a knock on Jim Carrey whatsoever. It just, when he played an over-the-top character like that, who, for like no reason other than just to do it, I'm sorry, I didn't like it. And that's just my opinion.
See, and I didn't like the Riddler role because I found it too goofy, too over the top, and I was distracted by the continuity of his hair.
You know what? The Riddler in Batman Forever?
Yep.
Is that the one? That was one of the, for me, that was one of the parts that made the film enjoyable. You know? I liked him as the Riddler. I thought he did a very good job. In my opinion, I don't think anybody would do it better than the original, Frank Gorsh, because he brought that era of
if you're gonna
crazy comedy, but he brought a sense of class to it.
There was
That's what I like.
Well, with Frank Gorshin, it was class, it was funny, but there was the physicality to it.
Yes.
Like when he'd get excited and laugh and he'd jump kind of running in midair. He was like a living cartoon.
He was. And that's what I liked. And like, speaking of the class he brought to the character, they showed him the Riddler suit, which is like question marks all over. And he goes, no, I'm not wearing that. And he was the one who came up with that, like a 3-piece suit with the question marks on it.
And that's the thing. Like, I like the 3-piece suit with the question marks. I like with the bowler hat. Like, that's that I like. And I liked how they kind of kept that when they did Batman the Animated Series.
Yes, I like that too.
But, listen, everybody's going to have a performer that they don't like or something that's not going to jazz with their style or what they're interested in. And it's cool that you don't like it. It's fine.
Exactly. That gives people something to talk about.
Yeah. That's why we're here.
Right. It's not like, oh, you don't like this, you're wrong. No. Okay, you don't like it. Why don't you like it? Well, I don't like it because A, B, and C. Okay. It's like a buddy of mine that I work with. He's into like the really hardcore like death metal, like the Norwegian.
Oh rock. Yeah, that.
And he's a huge fan of this band Ice Nine Kills.
Oh, Ice Nine Kill is a great band.
I'm not putting the knock on it. I'm not saying they're bad. I go in work in the morning. He's working out, and he's playing it. Hey, whatever rocks your boat, baby. But I give him credit for the notes they play, the speed they play it, how they play it. But when you come up and like the singer, he's like, "Rawr." I'm sorry, I no. I mean, no. If it was just instrumental stuff playing that fast, I'd probably get into it. But when you hear just like somebody screaming into a microphone or sounding like this, and you kind of, I'm like, no, sorry. Again, not knocking them, saying they have a tremendous amount of talent to play the speed they do and the notes that they do and and you know how complicated those notes are. I would like to hear what this person is actually singing about.
Yeah, listen,
you know,
music isn't for everybody. You're gonna have somebody who's gonna like really pop music. You're gonna have somebody who likes jazz. There's always gonna be something for somebody that you're not gonna like.
Exactly.
That's why there's a huge group of people that don't like country music.
Right.
But that's the thing. We're always gonna have things that we don't like. But and I'm gonna kind of bleed this into what the next thing I wanted to talk about is that, remember, Disney fired James Gunn from Guardians of the Galaxy when they were getting ready for their Fox acquisition, and then they saw that he was doing Suicide Squad and hired him back because, they got the Fox acquisition, so all of a sudden he came back, and you had actors like Dave Bautista and them defending him, and they didn't want to come back afterwards if he wasn't going to be part of it. So he's back, but now James Gunn is in charge of the DC universe, or co-in charge. Mm-hmm. And this is where what I want to talk about. We got Greg Berlanti had to address the fact that, Greg Berlanti brought in the Arrowverse and everything, and now within like the 4th seasons of Doom Patrol and Titans, they are going to be done at the end of the seasons. And to me, it's a shame.
The only thing that pops to my mind when hearing that is because I heard that he's going to give his phase 1 at the end. He's going to release his DC phase 1 set of movies at the end of the month. And the only reasoning I can see that him saying, okay, Titans is done, because it was a good show. Doom Patrol done. Again, another good show. Wrapping up the Arrowverse, wrapping up the Flash universe. The only reason I can see them doing that is maybe he plans on incorporating the Titans, the Doom Patrol, Arrowverse, those characters in one of the phases he has in mind. Because he has like a 10-year plan for DC.
Yeah, that's what they needed, though. They needed a long-term plan. The thing is, though, and this is my gripe with it, because Marvel's already starting up their multiverse. DC has a multiverse. Everyone knows DC's multiverse.
Yes, so, DC, I think, was the originator of the multiverse.
But it's like now you're sitting there and you're like, they had that weird rule for the longest time that if Batman's doing movies, you can't have Batman on TV. If Superman's got a movie, he can't be on TV. That's why, if you remember, during Arrow, they had a Suicide Squad in there. And
right. I think it was in like the 2nd season.
Yeah, and they wiped them out where it was like they had a pretty good Deadshot in there. And it was like, nope, can't be on there because we're doing them in the movie.
Right.
And I believe you can have multiple versions. I mean, let's face it, you marked out before all the Ezra Miller controversy of Ezra Miller popping up in that last episode of Crisis on Infinite Earths for The Flash.
Oh, I definitely marked that. I thought it was hysterical.
It was something to see.
It was funny. Right. I mean, was it an intricate part? No. Was it just something, okay, we need 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes. Maybe they ran short 5 minutes. We need something to do. Okay, let's throw this scene in here. Can we get Ezra? Yeah, okay, fine. Put him in.
Yeah, and it was...
And it was, if you pay attention to it, it was Grant Gustin's character that actually gives Ezra Miller's character the name of the Flash.
Yeah, because he was never called the Flash, and it's like,
he was always called by his name.
It's like, you didn't know, okay. And am I going to see this Flash movie? Yes.
Yes.
Am
I
I
want
gonna?
to.
Am I willing to see it in theaters?
Yes.
Yeah, only because
I'll see
Michael
it in the
Keaton
theater.
is going to be in it as an old Batman.
And you know what? That is probably. I mean, it's going to be a dumpster fire, in my opinion. But I want to see Michael Keaton back in his suit. That is the
Yeah,
only real reason I want to go see it.
Michael
They
Keaton.
talked about him coming back. They made all this hype about him coming back. I think if the Flash movie would have been canceled, I think you would have had a fucking riot on your hands.
Oh no! What needed to be done, in my opinion, was cancel the Flash movie and keep Batgirl.
Yeah,
Because Michael Keaton was going to be in there training her.
I don't think Batgirl is as bad as everybody says it is. I don't believe it.
$90 million. $90 million. The movie was made and canceled as a tax write-off.
I don't think it was that bad. I don't believe critics. I don't believe people's opinions sometimes when it comes to certain things. When it comes to movies, I'm sorry, I don't give a shit what a critic says. I want to go to the movie and make my own opinion.
Yeah. And I mean, when I look at like Titans and Doom Patrol, okay, the only thing about Doom Patrol that bothered me is that Cyborg is with the Doom Patrol. That's the only issue I have.
Isn't he in it, though, in the comic books with the Doom Patrol?
No, as far as I know, when it came to Doom Patrol, early on, it was supposed to be, whatchamacallit, Beast Boy. Beast Boy
was in it in the beginning, and then he went to Titans.
Yeah, but Cyborg was a Titan and a Justice League member. That's it. I don't believe he was ever part of the Doom Patrol. So that was
I think in like the first episode or two when you first meet up with the Doom Patrol. I think Garfield said, I used to run with these guys.
Well, in Titans, they did meet the Doom Patrol.
Right, and that's when Garfield says, "Hey, I used to run with these guys," because didn't he bring like Raven there or something, or somebody who got hurt? They brought him there.
Yeah, like they went to the Doom Patrol manor. They didn't have Niles Coulter in the episode, I believe, but you did have the Essentials, where we did have some of the same cast members there, so it worked. But
right,
I mean, my only gripe with Titans was season 1, and it's a small gripe because I didn't care about the casting so much for Starfire. It was the fact that she looked like an 80s like prostitute. That was how they had her dressed.
Yeah, I was a little put off by that too. Not gonna lie.
I didn't care about anything else. That nothing bothered me about it other than that. You know,
I mean, at first when I first saw it, and I'm like, and I saw who they casted, I'm like, no, Starfire is orange. She's a fucking alien.
But you know what? That's something you can easily change and cast. It doesn't matter.
Right, but then again, at first I was like, no, I'm sorry, Starfire is orange. She's not white, black, orange, blue, or purple. She's fucking orange. But then watching it, I was like, okay, you know what? This person is doing a good job in the character. I'll look past that. It's not a huge turn off for me anymore.
It was the clothing for me. It really was the fact that she looked like an 80s, like 42nd Street hooker.
Well, when she first came out, wasn't she supposed to be a hooker?
No! Even in the comics, like, Starfire is supposed to be, like, so beautiful. Like, she's up there with, like, supermodel status.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? I could let certain things slide. That one bothered me, but they changed the costume as the show progressed. So it was like, okay, that was a minor, like, that. So I can kind of, like, just toss that aside. But
okay,
but the cast itself, though, I was like, all right. They kept slowly expanding Garfield being able to change into different animals as time progressed. You know, they introduced like other older characters that we got to see stuff. And I mean, even Hawk and Dove, it was like, okay, they weren't real Titans, but they were Titans in
Right.
essence, and the show worked. This to me just was like, okay.
I liked Hawk and Dove. I liked the guy who played Hawk. I think he played it with the right amount of grittiness and the right amount of sarcasm.
Well, he was formerly Aquaman from Smallville.
Yes, he was. The only thing I would say, again, I'm a purist at heart. I thought Hawk and Dove should have been the avatars of peace and war with the powers. That being said, I think, how the three people who played Hawk and Dove knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, too, you could say you're a purist, but if you really are a purist, they weren't the avatars originally. They were just a couple of people who put on suits. They were just the two brothers. It was only later on down the line that they eventually said they were the avatars for War and Peace. So,
and looking at the cast list for Titans, if they were to ever do a Dick Tracy either movie, miniseries, whatever, the actor who plays Jason Todd, Curran Walters, he should be flat top because god damn that boy has a huge forehead. And it just makes the rest of his head look flat. Nothing personal, Curran, I'm sorry, but holy shit, bro.
yeah,
Curdog up there.
Yeah, Curdog, because I think that's his handle on Instagram. You know, he's actually a good actor, but Jason Todd is just, it's a tricky role to play.
I think he did it well. I liked him as Jason Todd. I liked him as the Red Hood. And I think Jason Todd is one of those characters who doesn't get enough recognition. I was always a Jason Todd fan.
I never was. When they killed him off when I was a kid, I was glad that he was gone. I actually enjoyed the death in the family of Joker beating him with a crowbar. Because it did give me one of my favorite moments in comics of Batman showing up at Metropolis looking for the Joker and Superman standing there and Batman just punching him and breaking his hand.
Yeah, I remember that. As you were saying it, it's in my head. He goes, I think I crippled my hand. He goes, no. He goes, I think I broke my hand. And Superman's looking at it. He goes, no. He goes, it's bruised. He goes, if I didn't roll with the punch, you would have been crippled for life.
Yeah. So it was one of those great classic moments, as far as I'm concerned, in comics where it left that lasting impression.
Yeah, I remember getting it, and I didn't get the individual issues. I got the
trade paperback.
I got the original trade paperback.
Same here.
And I was like, just flipping through it, and I was like, holy shit. And I think it was 6th grade. I remember getting moved into a different English class, and we had a book report to do on Monday, and I got switched on a Friday. And I was like, well, I have something. Can I do it on this? And I tell the teacher what it's about. And they're like, she goes, what is it? I was like, it's a Batman story. It's a trade paperback. It's like 100 and something pages. She goes, all right. And I did a book report in intermediate school on a death in a family. Don't remember what I got on it, but I think I passed.
Well, you know, you were part of the Boy Meets World universe before that, because remember, when they got to season 2, Mr. Turner basically did go and taught them, I think it was the X-Men comics. So,
yep.
Listen, it all works out. It's, you know, hey, I did a college report for film, and I did my presentation on trauma. And I walked away with an A, so.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, that's the thing. You know, my gripe is that I really want these shows to continue, but we'll see how each season ends. Because right now, my biggest gripe with it is the fact that they finish the first half, and we don't know when the second half is coming out.
Right. Also, just to tap on who survived the purge of Mr. Gunn, I saw an interview with Jason Momoa earlier today, and he's walking out of Warner Brothers headquarters, which is actually, if anybody's wondering where the secret lair of the Warner Brothers headquarters are, or is, whatever, it's actually 2 doors down from the Dragoon's lair. Like I said earlier, if you go down Sesame Street, you make a left at the Fortress of Solitude, go down another 3 blocks, you get to the Dragoon's lair. If you go down 2 more blocks past the Dragoon's lair is the Warner Brothers secret bell tower of destruction, or whatever the hell you want to call it. But
stop giving away my secrets.
Right. Sorry, forget I said that. It's not nowhere near Sesame Street. Anyway, no, Momoa said, Aquaman 2 is coming out December. He said, no one's taking that shit from me. So it's safe to say whatever plans that Monsieur Gunn has in the future for DC, Jason Momoa is going to be involved in it in some way, shape, or form. But he also said he was told something else is going to happen that he can't really reveal yet, but he said it's something that he wanted to do for a long time, and everybody's like, oh, well, you can't keep a secret because it's Lobo. And seeing Jason Momoa play Lobo, I think he could pull it off. The only other person I think who could have done it well would have been Ryan Hurst from Sons of Anarchy, because he did the voice of Lobo in the last animated Superman film. I think it was Unbound. And he did a great job. I think if it's true and Jason Momoa will be Lobo, I think he'll be awesome. It'd be fun to see him play 2 different characters. But I think if they couldn't have landed Momoa, I think Ryan Hurst would have been a suitable number 2.
Well, did you see the casting for Superman and Lois for Lex Luthor?
Michael Chiklis, yes.
Not Chiklis.
Not Chiklis, I'm sorry.
It's not the commish.
It's not the commish. Why did I say Chiklis? No, it's... Oh, shit, I see him. He's from The Walking Dead. Oh, fuck. It's something... His last name starts with a C, I know that much.
Yeah.
Oh, now I gotta look it up.
It was Abraham.
Christ, hang on.
Remember, he played Abraham.
Shit. And I can't even spell...
Oh, you're frozen.
What do you mean I'm frozen?
Oh, your video froze for a second there. Nobody wants to see that.
No, I was just me fucking with you.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oh, Michael Cudlitz.
There you go.
Cudlitz.
I knew you're a Walking Dead fan. I had to do that to you.
I know. You know what? I enjoyed him in The Walking Dead with those fucking quips he came up with. It was hysterical. He sees a whole bunch of walkers. He's like, mother dick. We were like, what? Mother, son of a... I'm using that somehow in my day, mother dick. And then in the other episode, when Glenn reveals that Maggie's pregnant, he leans into him. He goes, when you were pulling the Bisquick, you trying to make pancakes? And you could tell the look on Glenn's face. It was like, that probably wasn't in the script, and I'm trying not to laugh right now. But even when he got his brain bashed in by Negan, he's like, suck my nuts. I was like, bro, you're going out like a badass. And I was upset to see him die.
Well, now he is going to be Lex Luthor.
It's going to be interesting to see him play Lex Luthor because, you see him from The Walking Dead where he was that gruff character who was just, fuck everybody. I'm going to do what I want, say what I want. It's going to be interesting to see him play Lex Luthor because Lex, first and foremost, is a businessman. He has an air of aristocrat around him a little bit. he believes he's better than everybody else with his intelligence, and he probably is. But to see Michael play that character, it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to play it. Will there be a little bit of Abraham sneaking in every now and then? Will it be, straight Lex Luthor like we knew from the comic books, where he's a businessman and with ulterior motives? It's going to be interesting, and I'm going to check it out, and I want to see how he does it.
Well, I'm planning on watching it no matter what anyway, but I want to be able to see by the end of this season of Superman and Lois. I want to see how the live action Lex Luthors all rank. Because you figure going back to Gene Hackman, Michael Rosenbaum, I'm forgetting the name of the actor who played Lex Luthor on The Adventures of Lois and Clark.
Oh yeah, I see the guy's face.
Yeah. But it's like, so quick. There, and now we had John Cryer, but we also had we had a very short-lived on Titans.
Yes.
So I kind of want to see where it's all going to play out and give it an actual ranking. We rank Batman. Why not rate where our
John Shea played Lex Luthor on Lois and Clark.
Yep.
Which I think he did a very good job. Let's see how he does it. Also, honorable mentions for Mr. Luthor, Kevin Spacey. I think he was a very good Lex Luthor, and again, one of the saving points of that movie is watching him as Lex Luthor.
Listen, I enjoyed Superman Returns. I could have fixed that movie very quickly.
Yeah.
It was, you know what, let's just not do Lex Luthor and do Brainiac instead. That would have fixed the movie. Because he starts off where he left Earth, he came back. Something follows him.
Right.
Lex Luthor could have been a B plot but we went right back to, hey, look, Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor really was a virtual ripoff of Gene Hackman, where the plan was like, oh, here's more property. I'm going to sell beachfront property. This one's just going to be made out of fucking kryptonite.
Yeah.
So that's where we're kind of landing on that. Was there anything news-wise that you came across?
I touched on the Jason Momoa thing.
Yep.
I mean, you've heard this all before. I just want to throw my 2 cents into the Alec Baldwin thing for a second. Now he's being brought up on manslaughter charges. I don't think he should be brought up on manslaughter charges. He was not the prop master. He wasn't, at the time, he was an actor on set. Yes, he's an executive producer, I believe, but at that point in time, he was not acting in that capacity. Plus, an executive producer does not handle props. It's the prop master's responsibility to make sure all weapons on set are safe. He already settled with the family. I don't believe, you like Alec Baldwin, you don't like Alec Baldwin. I do not believe that he should be held accountable for that person's tragic death. It was an accident. Accidents happen on set. Brandon Lee. The gun was cleaned. Unfortunately, no one realized or no one saw at the time a piece of metal in the barrel of the gun. So when the blank discharged, the piece of metal acted as the real bullet. Nobody was no criminal charges were brought against anybody. They said it was a tragic accident. I believe this too was a tragic accident. How a real bullet got mixed in, probably no one will ever know. But I do not believe you should hold Alec Baldwin personally accountable for that. He was not the prop master.
Yeah, and
He was an
besides,
actor.
it's weird. It is a weird situation because when you do take a look at props, yes, they're going to want a gun that looks real, but
Right.
even a gun that is a gun that fires blanks, it's designed to not actually fire. So I don't know what this entire thing is, and I do agree that it was a tragic accident that should have never happened. So, you know what? In this situation, I'm gonna say let just hopefully it comes out the right way,
Right.
and that's all I'm gonna say on that one because there's really a limit to what we can say on this one because neither one of us is a lawyer.
Right. No. Again, I'm just venting out my opinion. I have absolutely zero legal degree behind me except for watching, Law and Order.
Mm.
Um, Law and Order, Suits, I don't know, probably some other law stuff. I don't remember. But anyway, that's my opinion. Again, if he was also prop master, okay, fine. Then it's on him. But he was not prop master. He was given a prop weapon, and he was told it's safe. Now, again, whether because you hear 100 different things. You hear the director yelled cut, and then he pulled the trigger. You hear so many different stories.
Yeah, you know what?
I personally I don't believe he should be held accountable, and I hope he comes out well. I mean,
legal.
I just hope everything turned out fine.
Hopefully, in the eyes of the law, everything's going to come out the way it's supposed to, and
Yep.
that's all. That's all I can say on that one. Because, yeah, but let's go into because you and I both discussed last time Night Court. This third episode is kind of like I saw like there was some fan reaction for the first couple episodes where it's like the timing was off that people felt, and a lot of people were a little taken back because Melissa Rauch doesn't actually have the Bernadette voice, and people were having trouble distinguishing her from Bernadette
because she's not fucking Bernadette in this show.
Listen, if anyone has actually seen like her doing other jobs, I mean, if you watched Batman and Harley Quinn.
I was just going to say that. Batman and Harley Quinn.
And if you really want, and you want to see it live action, The Bronze.
Yes.
That movie is a blast. So, I didn't understand them, but I guess people do have a hard time when you play a character for so long, like you're constantly associated with, but she's done interviews and everything where you hear her natural voice.
Right. And at first, it took me a second. I was like, oh yeah, wait, she's not Bernadette. But, again, this is where, typecasting kind of comes in because you see that character being, you see her playing that character with that voice for so long, you just assume that's how she sounds. So when you see her playing something different, it's different. I personally, I enjoy the show because I was a fan of the original. I believe this show is living up to the roots of the past. And I want to see what I hope it gets picked up for either the rest of the first season or picks up for season 2. And I'm actually thinking of getting in touch with the showrunner and writing an episode and seeing if they'll grab it.
Well, it's definitely worth giving it a shot.
The worst thing they can say is yes.
Yeah, listen, watching this third episode, I have to say they did a great job establishing the character while also keeping like the humor intact. Like they added layers of depth. And not only that, but also expanding on like the relationship between Abby Stone and her father, because we're never going to see Harry Anderson.
Well,
Harry Anderson passed away, unless we're seeing flashbacks from the original.
Well, I don't want to get into it because that's I have an idea, but if I write it the correct way, I think it might work. I think it might get picked up if I write it the correct way.
Yeah, but you got to remember.
And, yeah.
But you have to remember too. It's Harry. Like Harry Anderson was a comedian. He wasn't just an actor, so he had a great sense of timing. It wasn't just sitcom acting, which there's been Melissa Rauch has had a lot of sitcom acting. So the timing's going to feel a little different for things, but she's doing an amazing job.
Oh, yeah, she's knocking it out of the park.
And the depth that her character, by the end, between her and John Larroquette, it was emotionally heartfelt and also kept to the roots of the way the original show was.
Mm-hmm.
With that tail ending with the credits coming up, was hilarious. The blurring,
with the cupcake. Yes, that was hysterical. I'm like, yes. Oh, I gave it a slow clap because I was like, that's awesome. It deserved a slow clap. Thank you. No, I enjoy the show. I like the fact that they're not rebooting it; they're just continuing it. And again, I like the fact that they either recreated or they brought back the original sets, because it's like watching Night Court again.
Yep, it has that classic sitcom feel, like that. I believe we said it last time that this is something that should be back. You know, reality TV isn't reality. You know, these cheaply produced shows aren't what we need now. We need like shows that you can sit down as a family and watch. And this is part of the example that shows that classic sitcoms need a resurgence.
It's also an escape. Like, you know, keep in mind, TV was designed to be an escape from your day. You know, you had a rough day at work. You want to come home, sit down, turn on something stupid for a half hour. You know, you want to forget your problems.
And even if there is a moral theme to the show, at least it's put in a way that it's digestible and it can make sense to people.
Right. It's not like, oh, this is what, like, by the time you're done watching it, you're like, oh wow, okay. It hits you after the fact. It's not like you're being bombarded with it while you're watching it.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're laughing, you're goofy, you're like, oh, this is funny. Oh, nipple cupcakes. Oh shit! At the end, it comes full circle. Okay. You know, and I think we can all enjoy nipple cupcakes a little bit better now, thanks to Abby Stone.
There we go. And now you got a chance to watch, I'm gonna say, a couple of episodes maybe of that 90s show, right?
Yeah, I gave it a perusal. Sorry. Shut up. I saw it. I done seen it.
I seen it.
I seen it with my own eyes. I seen it.
So, from what you've seen, what's your opinion of the show?
I like it because it's following the Night Court track where it's not rebooting it. It's not forcing it. It's not forced laughter like that 80s show was.
Although, listen, I love that 80s show. It doesn't get the love that it actually deserves. Because the show actually had potential. It just, everyone was expecting that 70s show, but this was in the 80s and it was a different family. So
right. That's where it didn't. That's where everyone like, oh wait, 70s. Let's see the same characters 10 years down the road.
But that's not what we wanted. I wanted a whole new group, and I mean the cast that they had in that 80s show was great.
Um, no, I, okay. I mean, you dig it. I didn't.
I mean, let's face it. If you watched Supergirl, you had
Yeah.
you had Alex Danvers before Alex Danvers, Shyler
Right.
Leigh. She was in Not Another Teen Movie, goes and does that '80s show, and then she becomes Alex Danvers on Supergirl.
Yep.
You figure before that's Sunny in Philadelphia, you have one of the actors right there. So it's not like they didn't have a good solid cast.
Right.
It wasn't what was expected. And it's
Right.
unfortunate because
it happened. I think it happened right on the heels of that '70s show.
that '70s show was still going on. And
wasn't it winding down when that '80s show came out? Or
no,
wasn't it winding down?
No, if I'm not mistaken, it came out probably around the time where it was in the middle of when that '70s show was still at its like most popular.
Okay.
It was like before Topher Grace left.
All right.
So it really was like one of those shows where it's like people just, I think they wanted something that it wasn't. But
right. It wanted that '70s show. They wanted more of the '70s show.
They wanted to follow it seemed like people wanted to follow the same characters from that '70s show into the '80s, and
right.
That's not what they needed. They needed that break where that '80s show would have made sense to follow it and continue on because it's a different family, it's a different state. You figure it was California, and now we move to that '90s show. And we're following the character's kid. We're not even that's the thing.
And that's what makes that '90s show work because, okay, you had the break between the '70s show and the '80s and the '90s show. Let me look it up. Hang on.
Yeah.
Shut up.
This is what slows down the show, looking up stuff.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Oh, well,
Anyway.
Listen.
Oh, well, what are you going to do? Write in, tell us what you want to know. Anyway, first episode, 98. Okay, of that '70s show. And here we are, 23. It's a long enough gap where, yeah, you could watch it on Netflix, that '70s show. Yeah, you can catch it on reruns on whatever channel you want to watch.
Every fucking channel?
Every fucking channel. But now with, it's like, again, tooting the horn again, it's like going back to Night Court. You're taking a formula that works, you're bringing in some of the characters that you know from the original show, but you're doing it in a brand new way. You're following new characters in a familiar setting. And that is why this show is working. You still have Red being Red, dumbasses. You still have Kitty being Kitty, pouring her huge bottle of Jose Cuervo. And then, you're going to see, you already know from the previews, you're going to see Fez show up. You're going to see the original cast show up at some point in some capacity.
All but one.
So, huh? All but one. Because he's currently on the run. He's hiding in Gold Base for Scientology, which is whatever. Anyway, neither here nor there. But you know what? They can actually make reference to that in the show, him not being around, because he was always the conspiracy nut. I can't remember his name in the show.
Hyde?
But where's Hyde? Oh, he's probably hiding from some government conspiracy or whatever. It works. Make a little reference to it, and you're done. But,
listen, they don't even have to address it. It's,
you don't have to address it. But I'm just saying, if they ever felt the need to address it, he was always the conspiracy nut. Make a little joke. Okay, next. That explains where Hyde is. Hyde is hiding somewhere.
Yeah. Listen, the one thing that is a little confusing is Jackie and Kelso are back together again, Meanwhile,
Okay.
she finished the show where she was actually in love with Fez.
Okay, that was in the 70s. Now it's the 90s. A lot of shit can happen in 10 years.
Yeah, a lot of shit can happen in 10 years, but still, it's one of those situations where it's like they put those two back together. It felt like it was more of a cop out only because it's like, oh, well, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis are married, so why not just have them back together again?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look into it that deeply, yeah.
That to me
sure
felt
the
like
hardcore fans.
but it felt like a little bit of a cop out.
Okay. You know what? I didn't mind it. I'm like, it's just like when the second American Pie movie came out. Everybody, well, where are the people from the first one? And I think it was Jeremy London or Jason London, whoever was in the first one.
In American Pie?
American Pie.
They were all back.
Not all of them.
Yes.
Nope.
They were all back in the second.
Sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. Not for the second one. I meant for the American Wedding. I'm sorry. Not everybody was back for the American Wedding movie. And one of them, like, well, do you still talk to all of your friends from, like, high school? That was why wasn't so-and-so there? And they were like, oh, do you still talk to all your friends from high school? And I was like, that makes a point.
Sure, wedding or reunion?
One of the two of them. I think it was wedding. Whatever. Is this still good? What happened? I don't know. Something happened. Shit. I don't know if I'm recording. Oh, there we go.
God.
Woo. Ya mother. Hang on. Bitch bastard.
Yes, technical difficulties, folks.
Okay, here we go. I think I got it again. I don't know what. I hate computers.
And they hate you.
You know what? They can, to steal a line from Fender, they can bite my shiny metal ass.
Yeah, well, I mean, but for that 90s show, I have to say they did do a good job with everything, maintaining the essence of the show. And it was nice because in the first episode of Eric becoming Red for like that moment of like, I can put my foot in your ass. Like Red just, I've never been prouder.
Right. And it's hearing, it's hearing the older characters say the lines, like you hear Eric say, I'll put my foot in your ass. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I just say? Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of realizing like when you're a kid, you're like, I never want to turn into my parents.
Right. And
but
then all of a sudden,
without even noticing it, do.
Yup.
You can veer off from it as much as you can, but there's going to be a level where you're going to kind of be influenced by your parents to an extent.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah. So, I mean, it basically works. I mean, so as a show, they did a great job. I think they said each season of that 90s show is going to be a summer vacation, basically, in between school.
Which is fine. A summer vacation in between school, you could do you can say a lot. I mean, if anything happens to the switching of the cast, you could do a lot in between there in case, argument's sake, not the entire cast comes back. Oh, what happened to so-and-so? Well, it's a new year. Maybe so-and-so moved away.
Yep. There's a lot to work with. And I mean, let's face it. You're tuning in for the most part, really, at this time, to see Kitty and Red.
Yeah, I mean, and they pretty much stole the show of the original, in my opinion.
You're upstairs people now.
You're upstairs people now. No! And then,
So, I mean, it works. I mean, the fact that they even got Tommy Chong to come back.
Tommy!
Yeah.
Gotta love Tommy.
Yeah, so, I mean...
Why call you Red? Probably because I'm immune.
Yeah, and that's the thing, there's a lot of good stuff out there, which, I gotta say, we wish Jeremy Renner, all the best and that he would get well soon.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but this man is Hawkeye. he is a legit Avenger superhero because he was saving a life and got injured in the process and is somehow healing remarkably well, where for a while they thought they were going to have to take his leg. So
I think they put him in that cradle that they used in Age of Ultron to create Ultron. They put him in that cradle.
No, Jeremy Renner. You are a hero. You are a true Avenger, and I have the utmost respect. I've really enjoyed Jeremy Renner as an actor in things, but this just goes to show his character as a human being. You know, like, thank you so much for just being who you are and proving that you are a real hero.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that he was able to keep the leg.
And he's healing so well.
And he is. You know, I liked him. I liked him from when I first saw him in National Lampoon's Senior Trip.
Yep.
You know?
My first time seeing him in something.
Huh?
That was my first time seeing Jeremy Renner in anything was National Lampoon Senior Trip.
Yep, he blew out Kennedy's flag. You don't deserve Kennedy! No, but he was in the second Eddie and the Cruisers movie, Eddie Lives.
There was a second one?
Yeah, where it was an 80s movie, which we'll get into next week. But, no, yeah, there were so many good, bad movies that come out of the 80s. We could do at least 4 episodes on them.
Oh, this is going to be a regular occurrence now where we will be doing the 80s themed shows.
And Doug, you son of a bitch, you better get a pair of headphones with a microphone and we'll zoom your ass in.
Yeah.
You started this shit.
Yeah. You started this, so we will be dragging you into the show at some point as a special guest. So be prepared.
Get your shit together, buddy.
Yeah.
You fucking squire. That's right. I said it.
So
he sent me a text the other day. He goes, "Squire these nuts." I go, "What are you talking about?" Totally forgetting.
You called him the squire?
Yeah. Well, I had like 101 fever at the time. He goes, "Squire these nuts." I go, "Did Eddie Kingston say that? What are we talking about? Squire nuts? What? I'm sick, dog. Leave me alone."
Yeah. Well, listen, it's great to know that we have fans that are willing to write in and support. Hopefully we can encourage more people by showing that we listen to our fans, which they can contact us at dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. All one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. I needed to throw that in there. I haven't said it enough today. So,
in case you were wondering, I was mouthing it along with you.
Oh, you usually do. Because
I just want to let you know I was doing it.
Yeah,
you didn't see me.
Well, I can see you. Unfortunately.
And all that matters, Danny.
Oh God. I'm afraid. But so
anyway,
we're gonna wrap up the episode for today because, well, frankly, you're still recovering. I'm not 100%. So we want to thank everyone out there for listening.
Thank you, Doug.
Mike, give them your socials.
Okay, here we go. You can follow me at Hamster Pellet Productions. I have a Facebook page, Hamster Pellet Productions. You can follow me on Instagram at, you guessed it, Hamster Pellet Productions. I have a ticking talk. I'm going to probably change the ticking talk, so I don't do much ticking talking just yet. But Hamster Pellet 17 is my ticking talk handle. Email me if you want at hamsterpelletproductions@gmail.com, or you can just email the Dragoon at Danny one more time, please, because you don't have it done enough today.
Dragoon's Lair Podcast @gmail.com. That's Dragoon's Lair Podcast, all one word, with 2 O's in Dragoon. Dragoon's Lair Podcast @gmail.com.
And there you have it.
So you can find me, Daniel the Dragon, at all my socials is Blue Dragoon 13 on Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, Tribal, Hive, I believe I've even signed up for Mastodon at this point. I'm just trying to get myself everywhere I can so I can infect your hearts. You can also find Blue Dragoon 13 on YouTube. Eventually, stuff is going to come out. I'm still physically incapable of doing true film work. So, for us to do some of that stuff, it is coming down the line. We do have things planned, and I've got something that I will talk to Mike about after we finish up with the recording. But with that said, I am Daniel the Dragon, the Blue Dragoon himself, with
the one and only Mike Schiavo. What's up, peoples?
And we are signing out from the Dragoon's Lair. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Nope. Sorry, peoples. Later.
Now get out. Later, peoples.